You know, for a whole generation of us, these weren't just books. They were kind of like a rite of passage, right? A shared cultural nightmare you'd find hiding in the school library or passed around a tent at a sleepover. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the source of so many of those sleepless nights, Alvin Schwartz's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Does this face look familiar to you? I mean, really look at it. For millions of us, this one single drawing is a core memory. It's that jolt of pure, unfiltered childhood terror.
There was just nothing else like these books. They felt dangerous, like something we absolutely shouldn't have been allowed to read. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why they worked so well. What was the secret sauce that made them so terrifyingly effective?
The real power of these books came from this brilliant, deeply unsettling collision. On one side, you have the simple, almost plain, folksy words of the author, Alvin Schwartz, and on the other, you have the surreal, inky, nightmarish horrors of the illustrator Stephen Gammell. It was that combination that just burrowed its way into our brains and refused to leave.
But here's the thing. The art is what everyone remembers, but it was only half the story. The words themselves, the words were perfectly engineered machines of fear. Schwartz was a master storyteller, and he relied on two classic horror techniques that have been scaring people for, well, centuries.
He was an absolute pro at switching between two key moves. First, you've got the slow dread, that creeping, awful anxiety where you just know something terrible is coming. And then, right when you can't take it anymore, he'd hit you with the jump scare, a sudden, explosive shock that was designed to make you physically flinch. The books are a masterclass in this one-two punch.
So let's look at that slow dread. Just listen to the rhythm in this line from The Haunted House. Slowly, step, 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 closer and closer, and it was right at the door. See? The words themselves make you slow down. They force you to feel every single one of those footsteps.
And this right here is the perfect example of that terrifying partnership. While Schwartz's words are creating that sound in your head, that creeping footstep sound, Gammell gives you the horrifying image of what's making the sound. The text builds the tension, but the art provides the nightmare fuel.
Okay, now for the jump scare. And what's great is that it often starts with that exact same slow dread. Like in The Big Toe, you get that creepy, drawn-out moan. Where is my toe? And it gets closer and closer. But here's the absolute genius of it. The book isn't just a book. It's a performance script. Schwartz literally gives you stage directions. He's telling you how to tell the story out loud, how to pause, and exactly how to build the moment to scare the heck out of your friends.
You've got it. The book literally tells you to jump at the person you're reading to and yell. It's interactive horror. It's designed to break that wall between the story and reality and bring the scare right into the room with you.
But now we get to the real secret, the thing that elevates this whole series from just a scary book for kids into something much, much more powerful. See, these stories, they weren't just invented by Alvin Schwartz. They are ancient.
Schwartz was a serious, dedicated folklorist. He spent years digging through archives and collecting these tales. If you ever actually looked in the back of the books, you'd find these incredible detailed notes explaining the precise origin of every single story. He wasn't an author as much as he was a collector of fear.
And this is where your mind kind of gets blown. You realize these stories are tapping into something way deeper. Stories that feel like modern urban legends, like High Beams or The Hook, are actually part of a long oral tradition. The White Satin Evening Gown, that's a classic contamination tale. And The Haunted House, the one with that face, that's a specific, globally recognized folklore category, Type 326, about a hero who dares to spend a night in a haunted place.
Or, okay, take the story A New Horse, the one where a witch turns a man into a horse so she can ride him at night. Pretty freaky, right? Well, Schwartz's notes tell us this is a witch tale that's been told all over the world. His specific version comes from the Kentucky mountains, but the basic theme is ancient. These aren't just stories, they're like our cultural DNA.
And his research was so deep. Schwartz didn't just stick to the typical American or European ghost stories. He included creatures like the Wendigo, a terrifying spirit from the folklore of northern indigenous tribes. This shows you it wasn't just about scaring kids. It was about preserving and sharing authentic folklore from all over the world.
So this brings us to the big question, right? Why do we enjoy this? What is it about us that makes us seek out fear? Well, the books understood this human impulse perfectly, which is why they didn't just offer you nonstop terror.
And this is because the books totally understood the need for balance. On one hand, yeah, you get the pure, nightmarish horror of something like The White Wolf, but then you turn the page and you get, well, this, the kind of goofy, silly, dancing skeleton from Aaron Kelly's Bones. The collection was also packed with funny, scary stories.
And these lighter, funnier stories, like the one where a dead guy's head bone just keeps dancing and talking, they acted as this crucial release valve. The humor made the horror more bearable, and it made the whole experience more fun. It felt like a roller coaster, not just a straight plunge into darkness.
So ultimately, these books last because they are just a perfect package. They tap into these ancient, universal fears through legit research folklore. They're built for performance, for sharing with friends, and maybe most importantly, they give us a safe way to look our deepest fears right in the eye.
And that's really the tradition these books come from, isn't it? A long, long chain of stories passed from one person to the next, round a campfire or in the dark. So it kind of leaves us with a question. In our modern world, with all the horror movies and video games, what story, what little piece of our shared folklore will you be the one to keep alive?